Now we're going to show you exactly what we've been talking about with all the different drinks that we typically would put into our bodies. What we've got before us are a whole bunch of the drinks that we would typically see in most grocery stores, restaurants, or in most fridges across America. What we're going to do here is we're going to make up some of our 9.5 Kangen water. And as we're doing that, we'll talk about some of these other waters that are on the counter and other drinks. We've got Dasani and Aquafina. Of course, two popular bottles of water, Coke and Pepsi's #1 sellers. We've got Propel or Gatorade, we've got Sprite, and then we have that new vitamin water that everybody's been talking about. So now that we've got a whole glass here of our 9.5 water, we'll just set that right here. And let's take a little look at these. First, we'll get the Sprite opened up. I'm going to pour a little bit in the glass. Now Sprite, a lot of the moms out there, they give Sprite to their kids when the kids aren't feeling well, but I think after today, you may not want to do that anymore. The next one here is the Propel, the Gatorade. We're using all clear drinks today because when we go ahead and put in the pH drops, which we're going to use pH test drops that actually will color the water, and you're going to be able to see what the pH of these various drinks are. Here's our first reverse osmosis water. This is Dasani. Now, reverse osmosis in Japan, they actually call this dead water because there's actually nothing good in this water for you. In fact, the actual process actually takes everything out of the water, all the minerals and everything, and that's actually why it tastes somewhat decent. But I think you'll find that after today, you don't want to be drinking this water anymore because it just doesn't give you the ability to get the nutrients from the various things that we're putting into our bodies. Now we've got our Kangen water, our 9.5, and we'll go ahead and pour this. Put that right there. And then the last glass, this is going to be tap water. So we'll just go ahead and just leave this on tap. We'll go ahead and fill up a glass of tap water there. Now, the first thing I want to do is I actually want to show you what is the ORP. We've talked a little bit about ORP. And what ORP is that is the oxidation reduction potential. Now, Dr. Carpenter just talked about the apple. When you cut it, it turns brown and it oxidizes. And the number that we're looking for a negative number. Any negative number means that it's an antioxidant. A positive number means that it's actually oxidating on your body. So let's go ahead and test. Actually, before we do this, what I want to do is I need to get ourselves a cup of clean water. We're going to get some clean water, and we can actually do this on the machine. We just set it to clean water. Go ahead and turn this on, and we're going to run just some 7.0 pH clean water, and I'm going to actually dip the wand of the ORP meter in this between each one so we don't contaminate any of our tests here. So we'll go ahead and set this right here, and we'll bring the meter over here. So let's see. I'll go ahead and clean that off now. And when we get our first one, let's go ahead and see what that reading is right there. We've got about a positive 363. We'll go ahead and go into the next one here. Let's get that all cleaned off. I'll bring that right there. And let's see, what are we getting there for a reading? A positive, what, 292? Pretty good, 296. I think we're going to go over 300. So we'll go ahead and we'll go to the next one there. Now remember, these are positive numbers. We're looking for a negative number. So this means that all of these are actually oxidizing substances to our bodies. So we'll go ahead and we'll go in here to the vitamin water. And we've got what? A positive 214. We'll go ahead and put that back in the clean water. Now we'll get over here into the Dasani and we'll see where the Dasani registers. Now the Dasani is a positive 100, 168, 172. As you can see, it's continuing to climb. We're going to be over 200 here in a moment. That's going to continue to go up. We'll go ahead and just clean that one off. And we'll come back here and we'll check the Aquafina. The Aquafina, we've got a positive, look, it looks like about 150 thus far. It's going to keep on going. We're up to about 180, and I think as we sit and watch it, it's going to be the same as the Dasani. It'll continue to climb to over 200. We'll go ahead and bring this over. In fact, I'm going to skip and come right over to the tap water. and we'll come back and do our Kangen water. Now the tap water has a positive 300, what is that number now? 325, 334, over 350. I think we'll find that'll continue to climb to well over 400. And as we sit and watch that go, I think you're going to see that it will. So we'll go ahead and we'll move on to the next. We're going to come back now and let's see what the Kangen water, the 9.5. Go ahead and put this in here. Now what we're looking for here is a negative number, and I think you can see right now we are at a minus 349, minus 350. You know, we're riding right around the 349, 350. So minus 350, that is a huge change. When we go ahead and look at that, that is, we're going to get this put away, that's amazing. That's a huge difference. If you want to put an antioxidant into your body, in fact a liquid antioxidant, you know, this is exactly the source, is the Kangen water, the 9.5. Okay, now let's go ahead and test the pH of each of these drinks. Now the pH is done where we use actually pH test drops. And these test drops are actually the same drops that you would use to test the pH in a pool. And we're just going to put 4 drops into each of these glasses. Now the pH scale ranges from 0 to 14. And what you want is you want to be on the high side. You want to be as high as you can get. You don't want to be on the low side. So we're going to go ahead here. We're going to stir these up. We're going to stir up this first one here, the Sprite. And you can see on the, basically on the low side of the pH scale, you've got very, very, you know, an orangish color, which is what you don't want. You get into here to the vitamin water. I thought vitamin water was supposed to be good for you. Well, it's got a very low pH to it. We get in here to the reverse osmosis waters. This surprises a lot of people when they actually see this reverse osmosis water. You know, you go to the store and you buy these bottles and you think that it's really good for you, but yet you can see it just doesn't have that much of a pH value. Now this last glass, this is the tap water. Now this tap water here is, it's blue. And some people get excited about that because actually the pH value of this compared to all these other drinks is much better. Much better. But what they don't tell you is that the federal government mandates that tap water be at least 7.0 in pH. And so because of that, they use various chemicals, lyes, and anything they have to put into that water to get it to go to here. In fact, a lot of times when you filter this water, you will actually see that the pH values come back to this range once some of those chemicals are filtered out. So let's see what happens when we actually take some of our 9.5 water here and we just mix a little bit of it right in. Look what we just did to that tap water. We changed that tap water and we took it from an acidic, or actually it was a somewhat neutral state, to a very alkaline state. We're going to do the same thing over here to the Aquafina, and it very quickly turns purple. You can see that. Here we go again. We're going to get it to go purple just by mixing in some of our water. Now these other 3 over here, I actually want to, I want to go ahead and use our water, our 9.5 water, and I'm going to pour it directly in. Now watch what happens when we do this. Isn't that amazing? We're not getting any color change at all. In fact, if I go over here, we're not going to get any color change in either of these drinks. They are so acidic that it's actually going to take anywhere from 25, 30 cups of our water, of 9.5 pH water, when we mix it into these other waters, or these other drinks, to actually get it to go neutral. In fact, I'm going to show you that because this is so potent. I mean, look at this soda here. This soda is so potent that if we just take a tiny bit and put it right into one of these cups, it immediately takes away the alkalinity of these. I mean, take a look at that. It is just, it's absolutely gone. And so very, very quickly you can take an alkaline substance and turn it into a very acidic substance. I want to clear these out of the way here. Just put those there. Get these out of the way. And now, something very interesting. Dr. Carpenter mentions that the body is a lot like a fish tank. And when you look at that fish tank, he said that an average 150-pound person has 10 gallons of water in their body. So what I want to do is I want to actually have this pitcher represent your body. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to fill this up here with our 9.5 water. And this is going to take a moment here. But basically, as Dr. Carpenter said, the body is a lot like this fish tank, and we've got to change the water in the fish tank in order to get ourselves healthy, because as that water starts to get dirty, if we don't do something with it, we're going to be in trouble. So what we're doing here is I'm going to fill this up to represent the body, and we'll get this pitcher about halfway full. Just bring it right over here. We're going to take some more test drops. We'll just put a whole bunch of them in there. And we'll give this a nice stir. Now that pitcher there is representing that nice, perfect alkaline body. Now it's pretty hard to stay completely alkaline because most things that we do, whether it's the food we eat, the stress, driving down the road, whatever it is, it causes our body to create acid. And you want to get yourself to this alkaline state. So let's just imagine that we did everything right. We had no stress in our life and everything was perfect. And so here is that body of water that we have. And let's say somebody grabs a soda. And they, one of these sodas here, it's funny because this little 20 ounce or 16.9 ounce soda has 2 servings. I don't know anybody that drinks this soda in 2 different servings, but we're just going to go ahead and say, let's just say we just had a little sip. So we're just going to take this little cap, which it takes about 5 of these caps to make an ounce. And we're just going to take that one little cap, we'll put that in there, and let's just stir this up and see what happens. We had this nice purple, which is that high 9.5 alkalinity, and look what that one cap did. It already has taken us down to somewhat neutral. In fact, it's still getting lighter. Let's just go ahead and we're just going to put one more cap in here. And who drinks a little sip of soda like that? I don't know too many people, but look what just happened. Look what just happened to that body. Now, if that represents our body, we've just taken ourselves from a very alkaline state and we've made ourselves extremely acidic with 2 tiny little caps of soda. 2 tiny caps of soda. And we're using Sprite because it's clear, but any soda, this represents all the different sodas that you would drink. And we can try really hard to actually change the alkalinity of this water. I mean, look at this. We can try and we can try, but watch what happens. As this sits here and we put all that in there and we got it to go, but it just goes right back. It just goes right back. So it's really hard on your body when you keep putting all these acidic things into it when you're trying to catch it back up. And so the best thing to do is to avoid them completely and start drinking Kangen water. Start drinking as much of this water as you can drink, working yourself up from at least 1 ounce for half your pounds in body weight. So if you're a 200-pound person, you'd want to start with 100 ounces, which is a little over 3 quarts. That's a great place to start. You want to work yourself up to 3/4 of an ounce per pound, and that's really where you want to be. But I mean, this is just, it's unbelievable what starts to happen to your body. So we'll go ahead and put this over here in the sink. Now, I want to show you one more thing here that is really, really cool. This machine does a number of things, and by looking at the front of it, you could probably tell there's a whole bunch of other waters that our machine makes. And one of the waters is actually an 11.5 water that will clean. It will clean like nothing you have ever seen before. So let's go ahead now. I'm going to take some tomatoes. These are right on the vine. We're just going to take these tomatoes right out of the package here. Let's see. Let's pull this vine right out. I'm just going to put these right in. There we go. These are tomatoes that we just bought down at the local grocery store. And typically we take our fruits and our vegetables and we wash them, but we usually wash them right under the sink. That's what we've been taught. You wash them under the sink. But today we're actually going to use our cleaning water. Now, in this jug we have an 11.5 pH water that comes out of the machine. When we come over here and we set it at the 2.5 setting, we actually make an 11.5 water. And just to show you what it looks like any other ordinary water. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and fill that first cup up. Just pour that right there. And now for the second tomato cup, what we're going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and use just some regular bottled water, because I think a lot of us are starting to learn. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see what's being talked about in the news, all the different chemicals that we're finding in our tap water. And so now let's remember that this one on the left, we're going to set this right here. In fact, I'm going to put this jug right here so we remember. And this one on the right is the Dasani. We're just going to let those sit. Let's give them each a little stir. And we're just going to let those sit here for a few minutes, and then we will come back to them. There we go. This cleaning water, you can actually clean your laundry with this. You can clean spots on carpet, in your clothes. It's an impressive water, and I think as you start to use it, you'll find you can use it for all sorts of things around the house. Now the next property that Dr. Carpenter discussed is the microclustering property. And the microclustering property of our water is, it's fantastic. So what I want to show you here is this water's ability to actually take nutrients and actually grab those nutrients and do something with them. So what I've got here is I've just got some Stash Premium Green Tea, just your average green tea that comes from the grocery store. We'll just get these opened up. We're going to let these in here like so. And let's see, we'll go ahead, we'll use Aquafina. Now we're going to make tea, or attempt to make tea, with a water that is not, it's not hot. We're not going to allow this to steep. It's just a room temperature water. And now I want to make some tea with our 9.5 water.
Kangen water 9.5.
So we're going to go ahead and run us here another quart of our 9.5 water. We're going to give that first tea just a little bit of time. We're going to let it attempt to make tea from that reverse osmosis water. Remember what we talked about. Reverse osmosis water is what the Japanese call a dead water. It doesn't have any minerals in it at all. And in fact, when you put that water into your body, it can actually deprive your body of some of the essential minerals and nutrients that it has in it, because water, like anything, will balance itself out when it goes into your body. So now we'll just go ahead and take this cup here, and we're going to pour a cup of tea with our water. And I think you already see what is happening here. We have got tea. What I want to do is I want to give this one a little spin. We'll give this one just a little spin here. We'll just stop. Look at that. You've got two different cups here, same tea bags. One is obviously having a hard time making anything, and you've got this one here which looks like a perfectly good cup of tea. Now what's amazing about the microclustering properties is it actually will multiply the amount of nutrients that you're putting into your body and actually enable your body to use those nutrients. So as I slide this next tea bag over, watch what's going to happen. I can take this tea bag now and I can come over here and I can make another cup of tea. How about that? I mean, this property alone is amazing. For folks out there that like to drink coffee, you can go ahead and make your coffee, and you can use about half the coffee beans that you would normally use and get just as good a cup of coffee. And look at this. There's another cup. I think we could go on and on here and make anywhere from 15, 20, 25 cups of tea off of one tea bag. And there's actually nothing wrong with this at all. This is a fantastic tea, and it tastes exactly like green tea should taste, and yet it's just regular room temperature water. Let's come back over here to this little guy and let's see what's going on here. He's having a hard time getting started. I don't know too many people that would actually want to drink that cup of tea, but take a little look though. I don't think there was anything wrong with the tea bag. The problem was the water. So if you change your water, you're going to actually be able to, I mean, think of what you could do with just the cost of tea alone. You could go buy your expensive tea and make cup after cup after cup. But the ability that this has is if you take supplements, if you take vitamins or any herbs, as you put them into your body will actually be able to absorb all those nutrients. Most of the vitamins that we put into our bodies actually go through our bodies, and we don't even absorb them at all, because it's a lot like this reverse osmosis water. We've allowed our bodies to get to that state to where it can't even accept that nutrition. And we need to put this 9.5 water into our bodies to allow that to happen. So you can make tea all day long off one tea bag. We'll get these out of the way. Now, as we just discussed, the actual cleaning properties of this water is quite important because typically, when we go out and buy our fruits and vegetables, or if we go to a good food store, to anywhere natural and buy something organic, a lot of times we'll take those and we will wash them under the sink. That's not such a good thing here. I'm going to run some more tap water just to show you what we have in our tap water. Now, we're going to run a little bit different test here. We're actually going to test the chlorine, the amount of chlorine that we have in this tap water. So we'll put 4 drops there. We'll go ahead and stir this up. And that yellow color, you can see, is a ton of chlorine. That is a lot of chlorine. And of course that chlorine's put in there, I guess, to protect us, but I certainly don't want to put this chlorine into my body. A typical glass of chlorinated water, if you take a shower, a 15-minute shower, you're going to absorb anywhere from 6 to 8 glasses of that chlorinated water through your skin, which of course is your largest organ. And so you don't want that to happen. But here's what happens when we go down to the store and we buy a fruit or a vegetable or whatever it is, and we decide to wash it off. We would normally put that right under the tap. Well, we're going to show you what happens when you do that. Get this nice and chopped up. I'll just give this a nice little bath. There I go, making a mess. Put this right here. Just going to give this a little stir, just like we would. I mean, I know my wife jumps in the bath and she'll take a nice 15 or 20-minute bath. Well, the good news is that, we have a nest spa that we've actually got in our home. So when we bathe, we don't have to bathe in this tap water because this onion now is representing our skin. This onion also, it would be like any of the food that you would decide to run under the tap. And if you do that, watch what happens here. As we pour this out, take a look. What happened to that yellow chlorinated color? You know what happened. It's gone. The reason it's gone is it absorbed right into the onions, which now, of course, we're going to eat. I just put more chlorine drops in there to see how much chlorine's left in that water, and there's none. So what happened when we took our fruits and vegetables and we washed them under the tap? I think you just realized it. We didn't wash the vegetables, we washed the water. We literally cleaned the water, we filtered the water that we let go down the drain, and we put the chlorine and the other chemicals right into the food that we're about to eat. So that right there is pretty dramatic. And I'll tell you, I know that I don't want to ever shower or bathe in regular chlorinated water. I certainly don't want to have to wash my food in it by any means. And so you definitely want to actually go ahead and use our 11.5 water when it comes to cleaning off our foods. So let's go back now to these tomatoes and let's see what's happened. Get a couple more glasses here and let's go ahead and take a little look here. This is what the Dasani. Reverse osmosis water is in a lot of homes. People have these filter systems that are built right in, and basically they do it because they think that that water is very, very good for you. Now, what did we wash off of these tomatoes with that water? I think you can tell it doesn't look like much. That looks like regular old clean water. We'll come over here. Now let's see what we washed off of this first set of tomatoes. Look at that water. That yellow color right there represents the pollutants that we actually have that are on those tomatoes. Typically, you would actually eat these, and if you were to taste the difference between the two, you will not want to eat these tomatoes, because as you go ahead and grab these tomatoes, they're fantastic. They're sweet and they just taste incredible. They taste exactly like they'd taste right out of the garden. So you don't want to ever have to eat food that you haven't washed in our water. So we'll go ahead and set these right aside here. because I've got one last thing that I want to show you that is absolutely unbelievable. It is so unbelievable that most folks, when they see this, they absolutely cannot believe what they just saw, and it is quite amazing. What I've got here is just some olive oil, and we're just going to take some pure olive oil here. It's 100% extra virgin olive oil. Now, what happens when you typically mix water and oil? I think everybody knows that as you mix water and oil, they don't mix. Just like we've been taught in school, everything we've ever been taught, that's exactly what happens is they don't mix. The oil just floats right to the top. Well, what's pretty amazing about our water is that you've got, we'll take some more of this 11.5 water. This water has cleaning powers that are so amazing that you can actually, when it comes to cleaning those tomatoes, as we saw, it took everything off of those tomatoes. Most of the herbicides and pesticides today are oil-based. So anything that they're putting onto our foods, they make it oil-based so it doesn't wash off when it rains. It makes sense. But when we take our 11.5 water now and we actually pour this into olive oil, look what just happened. That is completely emulsified right in the cup. That's amazing. There's chemists out there that say that's impossible. That shouldn't happen. But look at that. We just emulsified this oil. Talk about cleaning properties. Talk about being able to clean your shower or clean the car or clean anything greasy. You know, if the kids go out and get something on their clothes that they shouldn't have, you're going to be able to cut it and break it down. But this oil, you know, it represents the gunk and the junk in the body. And look at how if we put the right water into our body by putting a high pH water in our body, we can actually take this right out of it. And so that right there is reason enough for anybody to go ahead and get one of these machines. So I hope today that I've shown you exactly what you need to see and to actually be able to tell what this machine can do for you in your home. Because everything that this machine has, it has the water levels starting at 8.5 pH up to 9, and the 9.5, we have a 7.0 water, which is the water for medication. If anybody's taking a medication, you know, a pharmaceutical, you have to be careful because just like it multiplied the effects of the tea, it'll do the same thing for the medication. And so we have a clean water function here, 7.0, and if you were going to take a medication, you would want to go 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after taking it, you'd want to use our 7.0 water. We also have a 5.5 acidic water, and then we have the strong acidic, the 2.5 water, which has amazing properties, you know, as we've seen on this disc today. So basically, you know, this machine produces all the different waters that you're going to need in your home. You can get all the chemicals out of your house that you don't want to have into your house. You can put the absolute best water into your bodies, into everybody in your family, and I hope that now you understand how important it is that you put this water in your body.